What did it feel like to be like a girl dad?
Girl dad, what your mother tells you, what your uncles tell you, what your aunties tell you, that now you have to be more responsible. As if bloody hell you are not supposed to be responsible for a son child or a boy child. In the sense that I was very clear that I would help, enable in any which way so that you guys are on your 2 feet. Point when you said I am getting into mass media, that was a moment for me was that, listen chum, this ain't going to be my cup of tea, okay? I saw in you a very different animal, okay? Somebody who could take the lead and go ahead, right?
Have to hand it to you. Hats off. You didn't make me ask you 3 times even. Like otherwise, with others, sometimes they resist the idea of therapy or help or whatever one might call it. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody who's not in your environment because it's the place you'll not feel judged. I'm so glad you understood it. There are things that I'm hearing you say or feel which I've never heard before, and for that I feel like I'll have to be even thankful to this platform. So in a way that adds to who you and me are and adds to why this is special. You know what? I always felt hopeful talking to you. I hope that tomorrow other people can feel hopeful listening to us. I mean, we've also had a journey which has not been regular. Hi, I'm Divya and that's my dad.
Hi, I'm Rajan.
We're a millennial daughter and a boomer father talking about all things life, all things experiences, all things love, all things hope. Honestly, this journey has been a really interesting one for us as well to come to this point where, as a father and daughter, we decided to start a podcast together because, I mean, in addition to realizing that our family should have been on camera a long time ago for the crazy family that we have, I also feel like this has been one of those journeys for us as a father and daughter that have been very different from what most fathers and daughters have gone through. And even you and I were different people at different stages in our lives. Now that people have gotten a sense of what the family is all about, I think let's sort of dive into what makes us you and me. So, do you want to take a headway on that one?
Yeah, certainly. While you were saying all this,
By the way, it's damn weird to see you without chashma. Anyway, go ahead.
that was a sidewinder I was not expecting. So I really now I know sometimes that bond which started the day you were born. I still remember my first sight of you in the nursing home where you were delivered, and all I heard was crying and sound. I don't know why you like to create this big fanfare.
I'm all about the sound.
So it was all about sound, crying, and that's the first thing which I even remember today. And that itself told me that I have got a new life up ahead.
You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right from that day onwards, you being my elder one, I always thought that now here comes responsibility. And being a girl, that only got accentuated.
How old were you when I was born?
Good question.
24? 25?
Yeah, I was a little about 24.
Good Jesus, I can't imagine being a parent at that age myself. It's scary.
Actually, I had just turned 25 at that time. And I think from there, the journey has started right till today. Then the next memory that I have after the nursing home was getting you into school. And that itself was a great experience because the school was very close to the house.
Yeah.
I used to travel for almost an hour and 15 minutes to get to my school. And the first thing after I finished my schooling was that for my children, the school should be next to the house. And as luck would have it, that's exactly what happened.
You manifested one 8 minutes walk away. So
It was not even an 8-minute walk away. You could oversee the playground and you just had to walk inside the back gate and get into school. So that's the first thing, in a way you could say, I was able to manifest and for my child, if you call it that.
of course, back then you didn't know you were manifesting.
No, I have no clue. I had no clue, but it's the sheer drudgery of traveling to school really made me say, listen, I better do something to get my kids into a school which is next door.
See, like how we discussed intergenerational trauma the last time also, this is one iteration of that because what you went through, you don't want your kids to go through. So this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
continues.
And in a way, actually, you start manifesting for your children what you don't want to happen to them, what you went through in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's really been, for me, the mainstay.
But tell me, all that from a mechanics working perspective I got. What did it feel like to be like a girl dad? Because I don't know. Yes, I think your side of the family we are a lot of girls, but I think I mean in the immediacy you were the only one, like in the closest family network. So how did
Yeah,
that feel?
I think there wasn't a feeling inside me, but it is what society makes you feel.
What does that mean?
And I think, especially when being a girl dad, what your mother tells you, what your uncles tell you, what your aunties tell you, that now you have to be more responsible. As if bloody hell you are not supposed to be responsible for a son child or a boy
Yeah.
child.
On the contrary, that is a bigger responsibility.
That is what now I feel.
Yeah.
But at that time, suddenly you feel responsible yourself, just being father. But being a girl child, all people around you start telling you, अब आपको ये करना पड़ेगा, अब आपको वो करना पड़ेगा. And sometimes you don't know what the hell they are talking about because you have not experienced it either.
Correct.
Okay. And in a way, that puts you into a bind. It limits your freedom of thinking. But thankfully,
So we are back to freedom and control.
no, not really. This is more freedom from the choices you can make.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully, because I am from the corporate side, my exposure
Yeah.
to women who are working with me, women who are working in other companies, and my travel, I think that really made me open my mind as to what a girl can do. And that really, a lot of my decision making for you guys was in a way tuned with that input,
Yeah.
you could say. So be it your schooling, although you went into a all girls school or a girls school, but that was more to do with the fact that the school was just behind the
Location.
house.
Yeah.
So that, but other things which your mother really took on really as a girl, because she being of the same gender, she's able to understand your needs. So all those got taken care of. So in a way, if you ask me,
But one second, I want to tell you, while that could have been your thought process initially, there are many days today at this stage in my life that I feel I can share much more with you than with her.
yeah, that's after you've grown up. You see, after you've grown up, that probably, I mean, if you look back, that's because, mom was around you guys more.
No, she's also crazier. So that is a different problem also.
No, she's crazier, but that makes your life exciting, right? I am not crazier. I am the steadfast. I am the straight-jacketed character. So you had a good mix of a straight-jacketed character who was there to put you on the rails or put the rails in place. And here was the one who used to paint the train. And
Correct.
she used to paint the town red, and you also enjoy it.
Yeah, obviously.
And you were no less crazy, or you are no less crazy, even now. So, I mean, going from that responsible thing and then starting feeling responsible one thing I certainly remember, okay, very vividly is how, as a child, we had gone to Mysore for a holiday. And what are those gardens over there? Vrindavan gardens, okay? For 2 hours, I had carried you on my shoulder. That was more to do with the fact that you were a child and you didn't want to walk so much. But that carrying you on my shoulder remained with me till you actually grew up.
Yeah.
And you started taking it for granted.
Yeah.
And the same thing did not happen with your sister as much because she was a lot more independent.
Yeah.
She wanted to walk more. But you didn't leave me. You wanted me to bear the weight.
And the world is bearing witness currently. So I think nothing's changed.
Yeah, so I mean, thinking of you and thinking back as to how you grew up and what is, you made me do things I didn't want to do. The younger one made me do different things.
Correct.
So as far as you're concerned, uh, you wa- you got independent after some time. Okay, whereas the younger one got independent earlier because that was probably in her DNA. Okay.
No, and I think it was also about the journey we've individually had as well, for the choices we made, whether it was studies or career or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, after school, she took a very different path, I took a very different path. And I remember after school, till school, you knew what the hell was going on in my head and my life. After school, you just couldn't make sense of the choices I was making because.
Also, we were limiting your choices. If you remember, going back to what is the stream.
Wait, no, this I'm going to say. This is a very ridiculous situation that we found ourselves in. This is 10th standard SSC, mind you, 2001. Okay. All through that 3 months or 5 months or whatever long break we had after our board exams, all through that phase, I was constantly battling with what am I going to select? What am I? Because somewhere I think deep within I knew my heart was not in science. It was definitely not in commerce, but the arts were attracting me.
Don't forget the classes you had gone to.
Correct. So it all contributed to that experience, right? So I knew that I don't want to do the conventional path, but this is still 10th. I hadn't reached that point where I could make that choice 12th ke baad, right? Till 10th, you all were still very much part of those decisions. And I remember every day struggling with this and being like, I want to do arts. And I know back in the day that belief system existed that DHs go to arts and smart kids go to science.
Yeah.
So
Don't forget that was our baggage.
yeah. But now when I look at it in hindsight, I feel like, yeah, even you all were doing this for the first time. You all were being parents for the first time. You all were parenting a 15-year-old for the first time. Everything was the first time with me. So you all didn't know better. I mean, technically, I was your guinea pig baby and the younger one was the more serious baby because even you were figuring your path
Not
out, right?
serious. In fact, it was easy to manage because we had gone through the throes of learning, right?
Yeah, no, and you had seen the extremities with me. But I feel like even when that point arrived where we had to be like, I wanted to do arts, and I think it was more mum than you, but she's like, if you cross a certain percentage, you're doing science. If not, then you do arts. And as luck would have it, I crossed that certain percentage by a significant margin. And she left me with no choice. So it was all about just doing that. And it was probably, I remember coming back from my 12th standard board exam and telling Mama, these have been other than the friends I made, these have been the worst 2 years of my life because I have done something I did not enjoy. It's okay to stand in a chemistry lab and mix things and whatever and be like, oh, how cool. But it never made sense to me, right? Because my brain clearly was wired for something else. And not to give a false impression that I don't understand it. The physics, the chemistry, the biology, I fully understand. I just didn't want to make a career or make that my life. But there was also truth to that choice because both of you said you can do anything after science, right? With the choices and the courses you choose, at least at my time, science was an open to all field, but arts was not. So if I decided that tomorrow I want to do pharmacy, I can't do it after doing arts, no. So I remember that being like a struggle, but even when I came to the point of doing mass media, again, new course, you guys didn't know what is in store, what is not. And it was a choice that I ran pretty much individually, but I remember there coming a point where one of the colleges had released their lists earlier and I was not on it, the first list.
Yeah.
I was upset and pissed off because, let's be honest, I had not faced rejection up until that point in my life, right? No one had said no to me, I mean, in terms of opportunity. So that was a learning which I didn't know was a learning. And I remember sending you guys saying that I don't care if I don't get into the mass media course, please log me onto the BA course at XYZ college. And you both have gone there while I have gone to the other college to check my list. And I remember you guys coming back, not signing me up for the program as a backup. You also came back and said, but are you not confident about who you are? I certainly am. So that made me feel like, arey, ye kaise hota hai? Like, how can he be confident and how can I not? I think in that process of coming to that point of making my choice after 12th of what I wanted to do, and then subsequently all the choices that I made later, I think that one moment where I was asked whether I was confident about myself or not, in many ways was defining. In that moment, it didn't feel like that. But when I go back to it, it made me realize that I'll only come to this point if I feel it. And if my parents are feeling it, there is definitely some merit to the process. So it made me realize for the first time that self-confidence is a real thing. It's tangible. It exists. Till then, it was very conceptual, right? Oh, you should be confident. Your ability to speak in public should be, perfect. But that actual andar ka self-confidence, I think I realized at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole journey that you should not forget that as parents, as you said even earlier, that we were doing it for the first time. Both your mom and I did not know what is the right decision, because the kind of streams or kind of specialization that we were used to is there are only three: art, science, and commerce. And that's why one thing which I was very clear on right from the day you were born, and that was probably due to the fact that I had done my education and I had done my masters too, was that y'all need to be in a profession. In the sense that I was very clear that I would help enable in any which way so that you guys are on your 2 feet.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing which, when you were born and so your sister, was that I need to, make it possible for you guys to pursue a profession and make your life. And that is really what both your mom and I constantly used to work on.
I think more you than her. It was, for her, there was
Don't forget, she was a professional too.
Yeah. But for her, it was more the being able to stand on your own 2 feet. For you, it was about ambition. So her, it was independence. You, it was ambition. That I don't remember you telling me ever to settle for anything less than the best.
For me, it was, even when you all were babies or even when you were very young, I mean, obviously, every parent, father especially, so-called defined, thinks about his child's future.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I was very clear that, especially because you were a girl, I was very clear that you need to have financial freedom.
Yeah.
And I keep on talking about this.
Even now.
Actually, why a girl? Anybody.
Yeah.
Any individual needs to perk himself up, build himself up in such a way that there is financial freedom.
Yeah.
Because only with financial freedom can you make the decisions that you need to make, want to make, whatever.
Yeah.
So that has always guided. So up to a point, both you and me, you and your mother really were trying to guide the decisions, the streams that y'all were getting into. Okay? Till we knew it. But when you said 12th standard, I had enough of pursuing the science stream or whatever, and I want to make to mass media, I think that was the point. Both your mother and I realized now we are out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't understand this. We don't. And that was the point, I think, even for you, you probably noticed that was a time we stepped back.
Yeah.
Because हमको कुछ समझ नहीं आती थी ये मास मीडिया क्या चीज़ है इसमें what jobs can be done, blah blah. And that then continued after that. Although your mother was I'm sure a great contributor to your projects, your friends, and your mom became friends to your friends more than you were.
No, because you were the Sadu man who would come back from work and not want to talk to anyone. I don't blame you. We lived in a 2-bedroom
You know
home.
me?
No. I think I literally was thinking about it that day and telling my friend, if I was married and I was working at a corporate job that I finish from after a stressful day and come home at 7, to see a motley group of children sitting around a computer pretending to do a project in my bedroom and all I want to do is rest, I can't even imagine how accommodating you guys were.
Now
for
you
that.
understand what I was.
I'm not accommodating now.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about then, I more than understand. Because it's hard. But back then, to us, or at least to me as your daughter, I was like, no, dad's come from work and let him do his thing. Not to say that you were inaccessible. But Sadu is a reality. It was who you were back then. Today, I mean, for how much you smile now, you didn't back then.
No, I didn't.
And I feel like a lot of your journey, especially with me, got better in, I think, when I got into my 20s. Not to say that we didn't have a relationship before that, of course, but it was more you were the dad, I was the daughter.
Don't forget, I was your maths teacher
And also my swimming teacher initially.
and your swimming teacher.
I came into my 20s when work started happening, work milestones started building, work problems started happening. I don't know if you remember that huge thing that had happened where my entire team had sort of,
Yeah.
boycotted me as their team leader. I was all of 27 years old. How the hell would I know? Which, of course, I realize now. But back then, I remember in that moment, me talking to you and mum both, but you more, where you were just like, this is not a battle you need to fight outside. You need to first fight this battle inside. If there is unrest in your being in the outside, there is unrest inside. I swear, I understood nothing at the time. It was like, what unrest inside? Of course, there's so much work that needs to be done. The deadlines, there's this, there's that. There's that famous saying, no, youth is wasted on the young. You have all the energy, but you don't have your favorite word, buddhi, or the discernment.
Intellect.
The discernment to be able
Power to
to,
discern.
correct, to be able to understand that this is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And frankly, that intention also was why, at least in my heart, I remember talking to you even about this podcast saying, you know what, I always felt hopeful talking to you. I hope that tomorrow other people can feel hopeful listening to us. I mean, we've also had a journey which has not been regular. Our phase of COVID was our greatest learning as a family and as individuals. I feel like we went through many beats, and be it, how we turn to faith or belief or whatever, comes secondary. But knowing that if there is a problem, the solution will be found.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with the traditionally society and families have not considered the girl child in an equivalent manner, especially from a gender specific side. But I never believed in that. I think what you get caught up with is this stereotype, if you
Yeah.
call it that. But I think the world changed. I changed probably faster. Okay.
You were willing to change faster. You were involved enough
No,
to
don't
want
forget.
to.
It had a lot to do with my exposure too.
And with your natural curiosity.
Yes, that is there even today, thankfully.
Yeah.
But the key is that especially when it's a father and girl, right? I think the fact that I wanted you to establish yourself in a profession, I sort of, at some point of time, when, especially as I told you, that point when you said, I am getting into mass media, that was a moment for me was that, listen, chum, this ain't going to be my cup of tea, okay? I am from the business side, I'm a science student, blah, blah, and I'm from whatever industry. But I think then that, in a way, helped me grow. And if you ask me, I saw in you a very different animal, okay? Somebody who could take the lead and go ahead, right? Yes, sure, probably your first job, I was involved in the decision making, blah, blah. But after that, I mean, I just said, go ahead.
But this different animal concept you applied even when I wanted to move out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, see, once you learn it, once you learn how it benefits your child or benefits your daughter, you don't stop doing it, right?
Wait, I have a random question. Would you be a different boy dad?
Yeah, I would.
How?
You again stereotyping. Boys are supposed to be more responsible. Boys are supposed to take care of their family. Boys are supposed to have a career. Boys are supposed to be in business. Boys are supposed to earn money better than the girls. Okay. That's all gone.
Yeah.
Because now every individual is for himself. So as a boy dad, you would be surprised. I would be far more concerned कि साला ये बड़ा होके करेगा क्या? Okay. Now
But are you saying you weren't that concerned about us?
I was. That's what I'm saying. So the question you asked me, how would you be? I would have been far more stricter. Okay.
Stricter than this? My goodness,
Stricter
that child.
in stricter. If you know what I say about some boys, I find them still to be very irresponsible. I find them to be immature. As a result, I actually, though y'all were girls, I actually put you into situations. I, in a way, drilled it into you
Yeah.
guys. Okay, I drilled it into you guys. Whether I mean just a plain and simple travel booking,
Yeah.
or plain and simple holiday travel. I made you responsible. You took to it naturally. So whether you were girls or whether you were boys, it didn't make a difference to
Yeah.
me. For me, every individual becomes responsible for his family. That is in a way, it has been drilled into me by my mother. Okay, and the kind of situation I went through, I took on responsibility very early in life. I mean, I didn't have a choice. But that, in a way, made me stronger, made me better human being. Yes, people find me very strict. I'm sure your early years, you will, if anybody talks to you, they will say he was a very strict father. Uh, but that's what I was
Yeah.
at that time. But being a girl father, now thinking back, would I have been a different girl father or a son father? Not really, except that I would have been easier on some counts. But it's not gender specific.
It's 19 20s. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not so gender specific anymore, because again of my feeling and belief that girls need to make a life for themselves. Girls are just not supposed to just get married, settle down, have a family. Procreation is not the only job they are here on earth to do.
Absolutely. And
And
this
if
is
you
something you've
remember,
always said.
yeah, I always used to say to you and then to your sister that you're here for a special purpose. I still say that to you. That at any point of time when you're feeling down, you're here to live a very, very unique, useful life. And I think the more we all believe, the more we'll all do better.
I feel like you sort of put that into practice in a different way during COVID, where realizing that a certain chapter in your life had wound up and you didn't know what to do with it. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but I think you should. But that also for you and me as father daughter was a very different kind of bonding. I mean, I can call it trauma bonding in a very different way
Yeah.
because
It was trauma bonding.
it was not one of those things
Now
where,
that I've learned the word, I should use it.
correct, it was not one of those things where anyone felt bad, but we were feeling bad that we were in that situation, right?
No, I think that situation brought to me to the fore that I could. I mean, during that time, I wouldn't say first time, but I realized that how effectively I could leave it to you to do things. How you actually became my partner during that time because of all the jamela that was going around in the world, and I guess we internalized it too much, which was also our problem. That was the first time you actually, in a way,
Shifted
our,
gears.
our in a way relationship or our closeness moved into a very different platform,
Yeah.
because you took on more, you took care of the house and mom and whatever. So I think that was a time when each one of us went through different ups and downs, especially from a mental state point of view. I mean, getting frustrated, getting, what the hell is happening around the world. I think you helped the family a lot during that time to sort of stabilize.
No, thank you.
So
But don't take away from the fact of your own journey, Papa. For being the man you are at the age you are, I don't think I had to convince you. I remember we had a very heart-to-heart conversation about how you were feeling. And I remember telling you at that point that, I've been going to therapy for some time and it's really helped me. Why don't you consider it? I don't think any other father daughter in our age group would be able to have that conversation so easily. And dad, I have to hand it to you. Hats off. You didn't make me ask you 3 times even. Like otherwise, with others, sometimes they resist the idea of therapy or help or whatever one might call it. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody who's not in your environment because it's the place you'll not feel judged. I'm so glad you understood it. I'm so glad it was not something where I was feeling like my father's not on the same plane as me. You got into it, you did your sessions, then found a path that worked for you for your understanding. But you were never averse to it.
Which in a way helped me ground myself.
Yeah.
If you ask me, that session made me uncover, but I think it took me, and alongside with that, getting onto the spiritual path, that really helped me stabilize.
But you know, Daddy, what also made a difference is that through this journey, you were willing to seek help because at no point did you feel like you were powerless. You were helpless within yourself, but you were not powerless. And that is something I think you also understood later. But I always saw it because I felt like, listen, my dad's always been somebody who's been open to many, many ideas and many, many um, different kinds of worlds. So why won't he be open to this? Of course, one would think that someone your age will not be. But you took me by surprise, and for that, I have tremendous respect. And I feel like that particular part of our journey really bonded us.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we also became each other's sounding board of sorts. You realize there's a lot of your brain abilities that exist in mine as well. And I think it's something that even I'm a 40-year-old daughter who's lived with you guys till I'm 39. So there's a fair bit of discovery that has already happened. But it still feels like it continues even to date. This podcast is standing witness. There are things that I'm hearing you say or feel which I've never heard before. And for that, I feel like I'll have to be even thankful to this platform. So in a way that adds to who you and me are and adds to why this is special. We've come to this place. We thought we were going to share and rediscover, but actually we're also discovering, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Don't forget those two things which I always say: communication. Are you communicating?
Yeah.
Are you opening yourself out?
Yeah.
That leads to hope.
Yeah. No, and the fact that hope came from the safety of being accepted, that you can be as crazy and as sane as everything else, but this is who we are, and nothing's going to change that. And I feel like that's the hope. I hope that others also sort of get from this experience, because this feels special, and I hope others can find that special quality in their relationships as well. On that note, we're going to sign off for today. We're going to come back and chat about some more interesting conversations and give you some more nuggets about our lives, and maybe hopefully connect some more with you guys and see where that goes. Until then, be hopeful, be happy. See ya.
Enjoy.